Is Yennefer evil? Hello, I'm Torior, and today we're going to talk about Yennefer of Vengerberg of the Witcher universe. On my previous video about Triss, some of you left comments basically shitting on Yennefer, saying she's evil, manipulative, selfish, and many other not so nice things, and I thought we should address that. So let's go through those accusations and see how they compare with, well, fictional reality. Yennefer is extremely intelligent, powerful, and beautiful. She's also the long-term partner and companion of Geralt of Rivia, and she's roughly his age, which means around 100 years old. But what about her morality, actions, and personality? We're going to reference the books for that, because, whatever you think, books are the backstory of the game. The game is a continuation of the books, although the game is not canon for the books. It seems complicated. Basically, all that happens in the books is the backstory of the game. If you don't believe me, look it up. The first accusation usually brought against Yennefer is that she treats Geralt and other people, but mainly Geralt, badly, or that she treats Geralt like a dog. Let's have a closer look at that. The first more apparent situation in which we experience that is when Geralt and Yennefer meet, and she's angry at him and gives him the cold shoulder, pretty much. The reason for that being his relationship with Triss from Witcher 1 and 2. Let's give a little backstory here, shall we? In the books, Geralt and Yennefer had a tumultuous relationship with many breaks and, coming back to each other. During one of those, Triss used a little bit of magic to help herself get into Geralt's bed, just for fun. Even though she supposedly knew that Yennefer and Geralt had real feelings towards each other. Now, why am I talking about this? Because Geralt lost his memory, but Triss didn't. Throughout Witcher 1, she used Geralt and lied to him. Only in Witcher 2 did she even mention that Yennefer existed. So she basically did the same thing again. She jumped into Geralt's bed when Yennefer was not in the picture. Now, what kind of person uses amnesia like that? But Triss is not the subject, at least not the main subject of this video. Now, put yourself in Yennefer's shoes. The man you love is getting it on with his ex, and supposedly has amnesia as an excuse. Now, we should probably point out here that Yennefer did not believe Geralt's amnesia. Wouldn't you be angry? At least a little bit angry. I think that completely justifies the cold treatment towards Geralt in the beginning. Also, by the time Geralt and Yennefer meet, he has regained his memories. So the whole amnesia story might not seem plausible from her perspective, especially since Geralt does have a long history of getting it on with random women. Now, remembering that Yennefer doesn't believe Geralt's amnesia, and she does love him, she feels deeply hurt and disrespected in this situation, and she's very proud, so disrespect does hurt her quite a lot. So I think it kinda justifies a few snappy comments and throwing a witcher into a lake, possibly. Now, as for treating Geralt like a dog, I really don't think that is the case. That phrase implies that she tells him what to do and he follows her orders because she says so, and that she is the boss. And I think the defining point is when, after meeting the Emperor, she departs to search Skellige for Ciri, while leaving Geralt to search Velen and Novigrad. Sure, you could understand this as her giving the order and expecting it to be followed, but I have a different interpretation. Remember, Ciri is their daughter. Adoptive, but still. Yennefer trusts and respects Geralt, his skills and determination enough to leave a part of the job to him and expect results. Also, she knows him, his character and his priorities enough to know that he will do anything and stop at nothing to save Ciri. And she's the same. She has to be the one to go to Skellige because sailing there takes time and she can teleport. And Geralt is an excellent tracker who can and will be successful in terrain like Velen. Also, she, as a sorceress, would be actively pursued by Radovid's forces there. I'm not saying she couldn't handle them, but it is much easier for Geralt to navigate that area instead of her. Well, she can concentrate on something different. Now, let's connect that with her being bossy and disrespectful. The main accusations here, apart from her relationship with Geralt, are her interactions with the other witchers and the desecration of the garden in Skellige, and necromancy. Now, desecrating a garden dedicated to a goddess and performing necromancy might be morally questionable, or you might say morally evil, but remember that morality is relative. Is it okay to steal? No. Is it okay to steal a loaf of bread to feed a starving child? Well, let me be very cliché here and say ask Jean Valjean. Is it okay to kill? No. Is it okay to kill to protect yourself, to defend yourself and your family and your possessions? I would say yes. Finally, is it okay to perform necromancy to save your child? Or to put it in a more real-world situation, is it okay to desecrate a grave or a temple of some kind to save your child? And if you're a parent, I bet you immediately answered yes. Didn't you? And if you're not a parent, think of a family member instead of a child, or a pet. Would you dig up a grave to save your dog? I know a dog doesn't compare to a child, but it is also a strong emotional bond you would do a lot for, wouldn't you? I'm not saying the end always justifies the means, because that would be a moral absolute, and absolutes are dangerous. But wouldn't you do these things to save your child, parent, or sibling, or other family member, or yourself? I know I would. So it really isn't fair to judge her on that. As for her being not nice, for being snappy and bossy, and rude to the other witchers, and people in general, she's extremely stressed. Again, look at that from her perspective. Her child, one person she loves the most in the world, the person she endured months, possibly a year of torture for, not minutes like Triss did. Seriously, in the books she endures months of torture, unwilling to give up Ciri's location to the sorcerer Vilgefortz. Would any mother in the position she is put in, where her child is in mortal danger, missing and possibly kidnapped, would any parent care enough to be nice to people in that situation and to cater to the wishes and delay plans that can save the child just so they could be nice to people and respect their wishes and feelings? I really don't think it's fair to judge her like this. You might also want to take into account the fact that her cold exterior kind of vanishes when Ciri is safe. She's in battle mode throughout most of the game. She makes logical decisions and acts, because there's no time to hesitate. Another accusation against Yennefer is that she's not trustworthy. I honestly don't really see a reason for that. She used Geralt once, when they didn't know each other at the very beginning. If you don't know that story, watch my How Geralt Met Yennefer video. Since then, there is not a single instance in which she is dishonest or uses Geralt. And making him look for Ciri isn't using him. It's like the mother telling the father to take care of the child, not on his own, just to do his part. Even when in the books she was seeing another man besides Geralt, she never lied about that. So I don't really see any reason to assume that she's not trustworthy. I think she's the most trustworthy sorceress portrayed in the Witcher series, both games and books. Think about it. Even Triss lies and uses Geralt on numerous occasions, and cares about herself the most. If you want to hear more about that, watch my Triss is a Traitor video. I should probably interject here that I don't hate Triss as a character. I think she's a pretty interesting person in the game, offers a different perspective, and is really well written. She plays the innocent and undecided little girl so well, she's so charismatic, that people actually let her get away with all the stuff I've mentioned before and in the other video, only because she's nice and sweet. And I think that's an excellent example of manipulation. And again, I really don't hate Triss as a character, I'm just very surprised that people don't see through her. Even if you didn't read the books, half of the stuff I mentioned happens in the games. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. And for a moment, coming back to the argument that she treats Geralt like crap. She doesn't. What she does is call him out on his bullshit. And I think everyone needs a woman like that in their life. Or man. Because being called out on your bullshit makes you a better person. Now on to the next point. Some believe that Geralt's last wish makes Yennefer and himself love each other. Now again, the details are in the Last Wish story. You can hear about it in my How Geralt Met Yennefer video. But arguments against it. He fell in love with her before he made the wish. And if you do the Last Wish quest in The Witcher 3, in which you can break the wish, break its hold on Geralt and Yennefer, you will see that her feelings are also true. As for Geralt's feelings, well, that is up to the player to decide, but you know which option I recommend. And finally, some people accuse her of being too bitchy. Well, to that I say, yeah, so what? She's a strong, intelligent, beautiful woman who knows what she wants. She's not naive, she calls people out on their bullshit, and she does exactly what needs to be done, even if the consequences are unpleasant for her. See the whole Skellige situation. And if you compare her with Triss, well, Triss is just undecided and naive, and she has her own priorities. I think that is pretty important. She will only help you with Ciri a bit, or she will help you to stay with Geralt. If you don't promise her a relationship in exchange, she'll just fuck off to Kovia with her mages. Well, and Yennefer, well, she is literally willing to die for Geralt and for Ciri. At the end of the books, Geralt gets mortally wounded, and before Ciri swoops in and saves the day, Yennefer is willing to sacrifice her life to try and heal him. So there you have it. That's my answer to all the accusations against Yennefer. Is she evil? No, she isn't. She's probably the best damned person in that whole dark universe of The Witcher. Sure, she's not always nice and pleasant, but she is selfless and she is brave. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm TophWei, and see you next time.